Hello, our regular updates, weekly updates on Friday about artificial intelligence. And today we have again a lot of updates. I had to reduce font size to fit. Anyway, the first big thing is there was a conference 2 days ago, Meta, Facebook, and they made a lot of announcements. One of announcements is that they came up with 4 new models called Llama 3.2. Just remember there was Llama 2, Llama 3.0, then Llama 3.1 was introduced in July, and now we have Llama 3.2, and it consists of 4 models with sizes 1 billion, 3 billion, 11 billion, and 90 billion parameters. So they all have 128 kilotokens. They expanded their language understanding. All European languages are covered, and I think also Korean. I'm not sure. Anyway, the smaller models, 1 billion and 3 billion, they're distilled from Llama 3.18b, and they're pretty good. I routinely now use 3B on my computer for RAG applications. It works great and it's fast. 11B and 90B, first of all, they all drop in replacement for the previous models, but 11B and 90B also have support for vision. So you can give it a picture and ask questions about this picture. Quality-wise, 11B is similar or better than Claude Haiku, and 90B is better than GPT-4o Mini, almost in all categories tests. So yeah, these are great models. And the good thing about them is that they're not just open source, like everything is open, and they provide a lot of platforms, a lot of tools, APIs for tuning, for running, for adapting. Yeah, this is really great. This is a big thing. Of course, it's already available on Llama, so you can do Llama run Llama 3.2. The file size is only 2 gigabytes, and I really like how fast it is and pretty good. So these are the 4 models they introduced. There was a good lengthy interview with Mark Zuckerberg, and people compare him with Steve Jobs because he has his own vision and he wants to create awesome products that inspire and uplift people. These are his words. And he wants to combine AI with work of reality labs. So this is division of Meta for virtual reality and augmented reality. So they currently have 2 types of glasses. One is Quest and another is Ray-Ban. And Quest is more for virtual reality, for playing, whereas Ray-Ban you can wear and it can analyze the images. It can do live translation, language translation in real time, right? It can provide real-time assistance. It can read QR codes for you, like whatever. Yeah, it's quite amazing. They have another glasses which are still in development, which is called Meta Orion glasses, projected to be released for sale in 2027. They're kind of like the Quest, but they're much smaller, much more elegant. And there is a thing you put on your wrist and the thing you put in your pocket because it can do a lot of calculations. But there are so many updates. Like, for example, all their messaging platforms, whether it's Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram, is getting updates with AI. So here's an example. You have a picture of a goat and you ask it, put it on a surfboard. And here, they changed the image. In actual presentation, you can see how they made more and more changes to this photograph, and then you can send it or download it or whatever. So it's a lot of fun. Meta has already 500 million users using AI. And in comparison, OpenAI has about 260 million users. So Meta already has twice more users. Well, simply because they have huge user base to start with. Okay, this is really funny technique. If you ask the question, here they ask the question, Roger has 5 tennis balls, whatever, and then large language model tries to answer it, but it really has difficulty connecting from end of the question to the beginning, because the way large language model works, it just charges forward, generating next token, next token, next token. So what they do here, they repeat the question 2 times. So this is the first time, and then they say, read the question again, and they just repeat the question verbatim, the same thing, the same text. Roger has 5 tennis balls, whatever. And what happens if you repeat the question twice, then somehow it can connect the end of the first to the beginning of the second, and the logic becomes better, the accuracies become better. It's such a simple technique to increase accuracy, like really funny. Anyway, there was a blog post by Sam Altman on his website, which is samaltman.com, and he talks about bright future. And the main idea is that things will come pretty fast, faster than people thought. So we're talking about 2-3 years. There will be personal AI teams for everyone, shared prosperity. AI will act as autonomous assistants and scientists. What required is more energy, lower compute costs, and of course, a human initiative. And the significant labor market shifts to be expected, they're already happening. However, new opportunities will arise. So very optimistic post. And then more about Sam Altman and OpenAI, which people now call ClosedAI. So here's what's happening. They're trying to raise more money because they are making revenues in billions, but they're spending even more billions. So they're in negative. So they decided to get more money, about maybe $6.5 billion. And for that, they need to increase the valuation of the company. So they're trying to increase valuation to 150 billion. Remember, a year ago, it was about 90 billion. So it's a huge increase in valuation. And for that, they need to change the structure to make the company for profit. Because being non-profit, they cannot really promise investors the return on the money. So they're changing the company from being OpenAI, like open source. Well, it was not open, right? They almost never published all the record-breaking models. It's all closed source already, but now they officially changing it. Another interesting thing is that Sam Altman to receive 7% of the new company at 150 billion valuation, so it's about 10 billion. And of course, as company will continue to grow. Sam was always saying that he doesn't need money because apart from OpenAI, he already has estimated $2 billion. So maybe what he's after is he really interested in this stuff, or maybe he wants more power, whatever. But these are the changes happening in OpenAI. And by the way, talking about ClosedAI, you may lose your ChatGPT access for asking the chat to clarify its thinking when answering your questions. So OpenAI sends email to users threatening to ban users from using ChatGPT for probing AI reasoning. OpenAI claims this measure is to maintain safety and competitive advantage, but it limits transparency for development. So it's definitely not OpenAI. But what's interesting, they continue to ship like crazy the new models. So we're talking about Strawberry 01, which we had in preview and mini, Orion, which is supposed to come in winter, and they just showed new Sora. Remember, there was Sora 1, which was shown but never released, but now there will be Sora 2. I don't know, maybe it will be finally released. Another piece of news, Mira Murati left the company. She was a CTO. She was with OpenAI for 6.5 years, and she decided to leave. Also following her, well, not following her, but at the same time, Bob McGrew, who is the chief research officer, Barrett Zopf, who is a VP of research. A lot of people have left. Out of original 11 founders, only Sam is remaining. Uh, yes, this is interesting. So DeepMind, Google DeepMind, coming up with a lot of interesting research. So optimal scaling of models compute. The idea is, okay, this is the article at Archive. Scaling LLM test time compute optimally can be more effective than scaling model parameters. So what they do, depending on the question being asked, model can use different amount of compute. So they developed this approach called compute optimal scaling, and they can improve the efficiency by more than 4 times, and they can achieve the same accuracy and outperform the 14 times larger model using this approach. Okay, to understand the benefits, challenging math benchmark, process-based reward model, whatever. I don't understand like everything they do under the hood, but it is impressive. Okay, another work from Google DeepMind is called SCORE, Self-Correction via Reinforcement Learning, a new method enhancing accuracy in complex mathematical and coding tasks. So you see the SCORE is performing much better than other approaches. And the idea is it's a two-stage training process to reward the shaping. Again, interesting work. This, I think, is important and practical. So we have NotebookLM from Google. So you can go to notebooklm.google.com. So here, let's just go there. And what you can do here, you can upload your documents and notebooks, and you can convert them into audio, into FAQs, into briefing documents. And by the way, now they can also accept YouTube videos, they can accept audio. And let me close this. And then there is another similar project, which is open source. It's on GitHub, and it's called PDF to audio converter. Similar thing, not that advanced, but the benefit is that it's absolutely open source, and you can do the changes as you can see fit, right? Next is Qwen. Qwen came up with the version 2.5. So this is a model from China, from Alibaba, and I love it. I tried it and compared it in my personal experience with writing code in Rust and in Python polars. And Qwen made code which is much shorter, much better looking, fast. Like it's quite amazing. So my experience was, I used Qwen 2.572b Instruct, so it's a bigger version of Qwen. And then there is a technical report from the creators of the model, and they used the smaller model, 10 times smaller. You see here is the 72b, they use 7b coder. So it's specifically tuned for coding, and they claim in their report that it outperforms GPT-4o and o1 preview. And you know what? I can believe that because I have my own experience which kind of confirms it. Okay, Microsoft goes nuclear. What it means is that they will use nuclear energy to power their data centers, and there is a particular installation which will be reopened. 3.5 people will get jobs, and interesting. Altman, Sam Altman, also in talks for similar things. So it looks the common pattern will be data centers using their own nuclear power plants. Okay, Google DeepMind, 2 new AI-based robot hand systems. One is called ALOHA, another is called DemoStart. ALOHA is more about fingers, so it can tie shoes, whereas DemoStart is about like multi-joint, like elbows and whatever, three-dimensional movements of the hands. NVIDIA Llama 3.1 Nematron 51B. So they took a bigger Llama model, 70B, they tuned it into a smaller size, so now it can fit into one H100 GPU, and because it can fit in one GPU, the performance is much faster. So this is good. OpenAI is trying to raise somewhere between 5 and 7 billion at 150 valuation. Anthropic is trying to do the same thing, although their talks paused a little bit, but they're talking about valuation of 40 billion, which doubles what they had last year. Both these companies have a lot of revenues. Anthropic, I think it's 0.8 billion per year. But both are burning more money than they get back. But this is common for all startups, right? So they, for many years, usually spend more than they receive back. But both are growing very fast. South Korea, Solar Pro preview. So there is a model, single GPU from Upstage, South Korean company, and these are the links to look at it. Okay, 101 Gen AI cheat sheets is actually 23. I really like this. Sander, thank you very much for recommending me this page. So they made a collection of multiple cheat sheets for everything related to Gen AI and large language models and RAG and so on, so on. Okay, there is a lot of stuff here. I'll just, you can explore it later in the slides. Yeah, but it's for somebody who wants to learn all the keywords and all the concepts, it's a good starting point, I guess. Apple's former chief design officer, Jony Ive, is collaborating with OpenAI Sam Altman on developing new AI device. Well, nobody seen a device, but looks like all companies are trying to get their own hardware because, for example, Facebook, Zuckerberg at some point, they tried to to run their applications on other people's devices, for example, on iPhone, and they had problems with Apple. So now they're trying to get their own devices, right? And it looks like OpenAI trying to do the same thing, have their own devices. Anthropic contextual retrieval. This is really interesting. So what happens is, suppose you're making a RAG system and you have a piece of text and you convert it into a vector. So this is original chunk. But another thing you can do, you can take this chunk and you can prepend some text to provide some context to this chunk. And then what happens, the overall system behaves much better if you provide the context. The search is better, the results is better. So they're using something called contextual embeddings and creating the index contextual BM25. BM means best match. It's actually similar to TF IDF, but it's improved. So it normalizes by document length, corrects for term frequency saturation, and whatever. So this is really interesting. I think it's a good approach. Okay. Microsoft GRIN mixture of expert model. So GRIN stands for gradient informed mixture of experts, and what they achieved is with smaller number of compute they get higher accuracy. So this is comparing with other models of similar size. Again, quite an achievement. This is a publication, this is not production yet. Okay, GraphRAG versus traditional RAG versus vector RAG. I just wanted to put in one place. So GraphRAG uses knowledge graphs. So this is really good when your data pieces have some relationships between them. People use graph database to maintain those graphs. The only problem is complexity and maintenance, but it is a good approach, right? Traditional retrieval augmented generation relies on keyword matching, on full text search techniques, and it's still widely used, of course. And the problem is that it doesn't understand semantic meaning. So, for example, Kendra in Amazon, although they claim it's semantic, it's not. In my experience, it's keyword based, so it's more traditional. Vector, the benefit is that you use vector embeddings and you can actually do semantic search, semantic meaning. And they're very efficient in handling large data. So that's why you see a lot of RAG nowadays, people just do vector RAGs. or maybe convert them to GraphRAGs if you have complexity in the data. ClaudeDev. Oh gosh, yet another way to use AI inside Visual Studio Code. So you go in Visual Studio Code and you go to extensions, you find ClaudeDev, you download it, and you can use it. People really like it even more than Cursor, which is a paid editor, which is also a clone of VS Code. But here you just use VS Code and you use an extension. Okay, Birdbench is text-to-SQL leaderboard. People ask me often, how do you generate SQL? So, well, there's a leaderboard with different models, and you can look and select. There is another one, also very famous leaderboard from Berkeley for function calling. So when people want to use some APIs for practical use, usually you want to convert your question into some sort of JSON to do function calling, and this is leaderboard for that, and it was recently updated. Okay, Electronic Arts, well, they make games on a computer, and so now they have this new idea that players can generate video game content, and if I understand correctly, they can do it on the fly. They can create and modify games, yes, in real time using natural language commands. Okay, California has 9 new AI laws. So they have a lot of discussions. They were considering 30 different laws. 9 of them already accepted. There is a lot of controversy about this. OpenAI advanced voice mode. I've seen demonstrations. It's very funny. It has multiple voices. It has better accent understanding, and it can also talk to you in different accents, which is mimicking. Like it's really funny. It has better conversation flow. Rolled out to ChatGPT Plus and team users. New custom instructions. New memory features. Grok Cloud has new model, which is understands images. So you can select it in the menu on the top right, and you can upload images, and then you can ask questions about those images. And yeah, and here, by the way, this is the screen choose a voice, right, on the phone for advanced mode for OpenAI. Okay, next, Google Gemini. Oh gosh, they upgraded their models, both Pro and Flash. So there is now version 002, and there is a huge price cut. They already were very affordable, but now it's absolutely insane. Like for tokens less than 128K, which is like, I never use 128K. I don't know who needs that much, because you're talking about more than 150 pages, right? Maybe even close to 200 pages. So the input price is cut more than twice, and the output price is cut more than 4 times. So this is a huge price cut. 20% boost in math benchmarks, twice faster output, 3 times lower latency, improved long context understanding. Now it's up to 2 million tokens input. Before it was 1 million. So usually models today have 128K, but here you're talking about 2 million. Improved vision capabilities, reduced pricing, default filters switched to opt-in, giving developers more control, updated the experimental model. So this is a huge update, making Gemini very, very practical. Okay, RAG Fusion. So this is a very interesting article, and it outlines the approach how to make high quality RAG. So this is the diagram. So user submits a query, the system generates several similar or related queries. You see there are several queries. These multiple queries then used for vector similarity search get multiple results. Then a reciprocal rank fusion combines the results from all the searches, considering their relevance across different queries. And then they are re-ranked again to prioritize the most relevant to the original query, and finally generates the output. So yeah, I guess this is an interesting practical approach. Next, people asking questions, when the models will start solving unsolvable math problems. So here I want to talk about Millennium Prize problems. So in 1998, so just 2 years before year 2000, this couple, Landon and Lavinia Clay, have founded a mathematical institute. It's in Cambridge, Massachusetts, here in US. So this is, you see, Clay Mathematics Institute, 1998. So these are them. He has already died. His wife is still alive. And 2 years after they founded, they made this promise that everyone who receives one of the 7 big problems will get $1 million. It's published on the website claymath.org, so it's called Millennium Problems. And one of them was solved by Grigory Perelman in 2003. And it was Poincare conjecture, so it was solved. The interesting thing is that he rejected the $1 million. He solved it, but he didn't accept the money. So here are the problems, and you can also just go to the website and Wikipedia and read about them. And I also included here information about Fermat Great Theorem, which was solved in 1994 by Andrew Wiles. And yeah, this is his picture. Crowdsource Arena leaderboard hasn't changed. It is still at September 17th, so nothing has changed here. O1 dominates for English queries and also for coding. There is a new leaderboard, which is kind of a jailbreak arena leaderboard. You go there, it's called redarena.ai, and you can try to jailbreak the models. And here is the leaderboard. So it's a new thing, it just started. But what you can see that Claude has better resistance than other models, like GPT-4o is not good, Gemini is not good, but Claude is so far the best from the ones they tried. Okay, about the layoffs, we have low level of layoffs in comparison to last year. And I just wanted to show you the US unemployment rate. So this is over the years from 1990. And we had some peaks at 9.6%, so almost 10%. This was 8% in 2020. Right now, the rate is 4.2, which is very low. That means that, well, people are working. And yeah, that's it for today. This is me, and thank you.